Welcome to our caravan tour. Steph's already done the inside. It's time to show you the outside of our Jayco Journey 2268-1. It's our home for the rest of the year. Let's go and check some of the features out. First thing you're going to note is our awning. Now, the awning is our living room. This is our living space outside of the van. When we roll the awning out, it's pretty standard. Couple of features. First of all, we use ratchet straps, and you'll note we've got two ratchet straps down. We attach these with coach bolts, and if you have a look down the ground here, this is particularly tough ground. It's like concrete. We're actually staying where there used to be a gypsum mine, and everything is rock hard. So these 20cm coach bolts, we've used the impact drill driver, and that has driven those down into the ground to secure our awning. It does not budge. You do occasionally get a bit of a flap over the nights, especially. We've got these Camco anti-flappers. So these are deflappers, and the idea here is that you Velcro them to this support pole, and then as you can see, it stops it flapping around when you're at night and you hear the flap, 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 so it stops that for you, which is great. So coming through inside our living space, as you can see, we run a C-Gear multi-mat. Now these are the bee's knees when it comes to flooring and shade cover. We actually have one for the floor, and when we're in more close-up locations, we want a little bit of privacy. We've got a side screen that goes all the way down here and one for the back as well. You can see our privacy screen awnings here, so when we're in a crowded caravan park, we're able to put up these privacy screens to give us a bit more protection and privacy from the neighbours. Inside the living area, obviously you're going to need somewhere to sit. So we've got our Austrail chairs here, and we've got an old table we've always had. And these chairs form our dining room, our school space, my work area if I ever want to do some work online. Everything happens out here. And like any good lounge room, you're obviously going to want to watch a little bit of TV every now and then. Let me show you something cool. We have this access hatch into our entertainment area. And what we've got in here is a pull-out arm. And like many caravans, you can take your TV out and hang it out outside. We've actually got access to our HDMI, our satellite on the roof if we need it. We don't tend to bring our TV out here. We've got this little second-hand projector we bought on eBay. And what we do with this is this actually just hooks on outside like that. And then we're able to use Chromecast to be able to cast TV. We can even plug in that HDMI cable for satellite, and we're able to project this up onto the white screen up here, and sometimes onto the roof or onto the sidewall, depending on what we want to do and what the light's like at the time. So it's just a different way to be able to watch TV outside. To be honest with you, we haven't really got to use it much. I've watched a couple of test match cricket games. That's about it. One basketball match. We've been doing too much stuff outside and enjoying the places we've been in to be able to use it. But we've got it there. It's quite light and very easy to use when we need it. That just tucks away, and this goes inside a secure case inside. I'm going to take you from the lounge room through to our kitchen outside. Let's have a look. When we bought the caravan, we wanted to get the outdoor kitchen. So you'll note we've got a table here that drops down for preparation space. We've also got something even better in here. This is our outdoor kitchen, and we absolutely love this. It's hot weather, we're following the sun. It's always hot inside the van, even with fans, even with the great aeration we've got inside our van. So what we like to do is do all our cooking outside. So in here we've got a pop-up sink. When we ordered this from Jayco, it only comes with cold water out here. I had a mate who's a plumber come in and just wire up the hot water for me. I have here two gas burners, so we're able to cook outside with pots, saucepans, pans. We've done breakfast, pancakes. Steph is actually a vegetarian, so I often cook all the meat on a barbecue Weber that goes on the end here, and then we use this for anything that Steph's having that isn't tasty, like vegetables and tofu and all that sort of garbage.
He's just waiting for me to bite.
So on the top here we place our Weber barbecue, so we have that tucked in under the bed. That goes up on top here, and then we've got a complete outdoor kitchen. We've got two access points for gas underneath, two bayonets, one for this and one for the barbecue. So that was the outdoor kitchen. So we'll just tuck that away. When we're finished with it, we simply close it. The detergent lives out here with a nice little cloth, and we just slide that in. Tuck it away, and it's ready for next time. It's a pretty cool thing. Okay, so we've done the kitchen. Now we've got to go to the laundry. You've already seen our inside tour and the fact that Steph's got a washing machine inside the caravan, but then we need to dry our things outside. We've got this old camping clothesline we've had for years. It's one of those pegless style type clotheslines, so you're able to tuck your washing in there and that'll hang it up nice to dry. We prefer not to do that, make it look like a Chinese laundry. What we actually use most of the time, let's go down this end of the caravan and we're going to take a look at our octopus. Now we actually have 3 octopi. Is that the plural? I'm not sure. Octopuses, whatever it is. But these come from IKEA. They fold up and they sit inside our washing machine when we're traveling. So they're out of the way and we bring them out, hang them up whenever we get to a location. Bathers, tea towels, towels even, can all go on this. And you can see how many pegs are on this. So it's nice and easy to use. The kids can reach it and it gets everything dry really quickly, especially in a warm day like this with a bit of wind, as you can see. Come down here and I'm going to show you where we keep our shoes. This tub here, it's a bunker tub. We got it from Bunnings. This actually fits perfectly under the bed in the Jayco. So there's a bit of an overhang on the bed. We slide this in, it's on 2 wheels. All of our shoes go in here, as well as sporting equipment too. We've got basketball, football, cricket bat, balls, etc. So this is easy for the kids to access, and with the clips on it, it means no snakes are going to crawl into your shoes or anything else, and you're not going to be trafficking reptiles across the country as you move around from place to place. One other storage tub that we've got outside, this is our dirty dishes, and unfortunately it's very full. I did the dishes yesterday, so I am clean on this one. But in here we keep all of our dirty dishes. And the idea behind this is that ants, flies, etc. can't get in there. It is sealed, no animals. We don't want to do the dishes every single day, especially when we're like this, off the grid camping. We don't want to waste too much water. We want to use 1 load of water to wash the dishes as best we can. By doing it this way, the dishes go in, usually a couple of meals, sometimes 3, fit inside there, and then we'll wash them all at once in our outdoor kitchen in that sink that you saw earlier. Let's go and take a look around the other side of the caravan and we get to learn a little bit about what's going on back there. So think of a caravan as a bit like a reverse mullet. It's all party up front and business out the back. So we're on the business side of the van and I'm going to show you some of the things on this side that mostly I get to hang out with. So to start off with, here's where we get our little cassette for the toilet waste. The boys have loved emptying this. It is a fight to see who gets to empty the cassette. You can see it's very straightforward to pull in and out, and then it becomes a little carry-on accessory when you need to go to the airport with it, which is great. So very easy to maneuver around. And we've been going through a canister probably every 4 or 5 days. When we've been on serious watch, up to 6 or 7 days. Just depends on how many dump points are around and what we let them do inside the toilet. So if you come further down, we've got an aerial. If we go to a caravan park and need to hook up the TV aerial, but I'll show you why shortly when we go into the roof area, why we don't actually use this. We've got inlets for power, a little hook to hold your cord. This is where our fridge breathes out from, so that's into our compressor fridge inside, so we get a bit of airflow through. Okay, so coming back here, we've got our water panels, access panels. So when I unlock this, you can see here, we've got 3 tanks, 3 82-litre tanks. They're filled up by access holes. There's 1, 2, and we have a 3rd one just down here as well. 3rd one in there, so that's our 3 water tanks. And we have here our inlet for caravan park water. So if we're on mains water, we go into there with our hose and it actually lets us have traditional water pressure inside the van without the need to use our water tanks. So these rubber caps really help to keep some of the dust out. So next up, in between our 2 water tanks, which sort of makes sense, is our hot water service. So what you can see in here is an easy access panel to get inside. There's 2 main features here. One is the anode. So this is a corroding rod that helps keep your hot water service from corroding. It's essentially sacrificial, so it will break down over time. Every 6 months or so, have a look, and if it's broken right down, you replace that anode. The other thing of interest is if you just have a look up inside here, we've got an off and on button. So it's set to on at the moment, so I'm just going to turn that off. And what that does is, if you're on a caravan park 240 mains, you can turn that on and use 240 volt to heat your water, or you can turn it off when you're on gas like we are right now, or if you just want to use gas to heat your hot water. So I'll close that up. Quite simple. So as we move further along, another point of interest here is our shower access. So we've actually got a shower here on the caravan. So the idea behind this is if we go off to the beach like we'll be doing this afternoon, we come back, the kids are covered in sand, we can use this to basically wash them down, which is really good. Saves us having to put them inside the van and traipsing all of that sand through the caravan. I'll put that back up there. So nice and safe up there. And then finally, this is our boot access. So as you saw, we've got the camp kitchen on the other side. So we've got half a boot. So inside the boot here, we keep our awnings are up the front. We're not using them, the privacy screens at the moment. We've got our bags for our chairs, any of our leveling ramps. We've got our flat hose reels. And we've also got our drill and our coach bolts that we use when we're securing our awning. That's all kept in here nice and neat in a couple of carry cans. So as you can see, we've still got plenty of room. Let's take a look at the actual front of the van. But as we do that, you'll notice along the ground here, we've got our Red Arc solar blanket. So yes, we've got solar on the roof, but we also run Red Arc gear to give us a real boost as we travel around Australia. So I've got our solar blanket placed out in the sun. We've got a nice, good quality lead that allows us to take that solar blanket up to 10 meters away from the van. So the idea there is that if we're parked in the shade to protect the van from the heat, we can still get solar from out in the sun, just running that lead out, which is really cool. If you have a look over this side, you can see we've got our Anderson connections. This is something that we've put into the caravan. So that Anderson lead from the solar blanket comes in, goes inside to a solar regulator direct to the batteries. So we don't go through the existing caravan technology, we go straight to the batteries with the Red Arc stuff. You can see we've got a tap up front, which gets a lot of use. It's nice, easy to access. Yes, we've got the camp kitchen around the other side, but if you're coming back, you've got dirty hands, it's very easy to get to that tap and clean off. And so up here, we've got our gas bottle storage. So we just undo these little clips on the sides. So it's quite easy from a access point of view. And then we get into our gas bottles, and this has got a switch pointing to which gas bottle. Now, Steph, how long have we been using this gas bottle?
It's like the gas bottle that doesn't run out. We've seriously been using it for like 6-8 weeks.
It's ridiculous.
And it's just going
it's a gas bottle that never ends. We do have a compressor fridge, so we don't have a three-way, we have a two-way fridge. So it uses 12 volt, 240 volts. So that hasn't been running the fridge, and it is the one that just keeps on going because we've just been using it literally to heat our hot water and to cook our meals. That's pretty much all it's been. Now, if I needed to lift this up, you can see I've got a bit of a problem. So if you come around the front, you can see we've got our bike rack here. I did a lot of research when it came to our bike racks, and so I wanted to find something to carry 3 bikes. Out of the factory, we could only get a 2 bike rack. So we've ended up getting this full superb bike rack with the additional rail to carry our 3 bikes. Where do you mount it? Well, if you have a look at this bike rack, you can see we've got access to a central jockey wheel mount. So we added that when we got the caravan. So we've got a second central jockey wheel mount, and we still have full access into that jockey wheel to lift the caravan up and down. But when it comes to the gas bottles, if you come around that side, obviously I want to be able to lift up the gas bottles up and out, and this could get in the way. So the great thing about this particular bike rack is you'll be able to see here, so I've got a little clip here, and that unclips, and then that actually allows me to lift forward the entire bike rack to be able to get access. So I can do that with or without the bikes on the bike rack. And so that's just a good little feature that makes accessing things a lot easier here on the caravan. Which way does it go? That way. Okay. Okay, so we've secured that back. I'll get you to come around and we'll have a look at a couple of the connections. But down here is the business end that connects the caravan to the vehicle. I'm going to go through some of the connections. You can see here we've got a Malenko tow ball lock. Now, we've put this in place as a visual deterrent. We've got a bunch of other security features on this caravan, which we'll talk about. We're going to do a bit of free camping, low-cost camping, and we want to secure the van when we go off adventuring. We've obviously got the chains, which everyone is used to. We also have our breakaway cable. And the idea here is that if the caravan was to break away from the car, this little control unit would lose its plug and the brakes would be instantly applied, stopping the caravan from rolling down the hill or crashing into anyone. So that's the first thing. Second thing is essentially the umbilical cord connecting the caravan using a 12-pin plug. Now, this provides power to everything from the fridge, charging up the batteries. This powers the tail lights. It also controls our electronic stability control. Just down here, you'll see a little unit. When plugged into the car, that'll flash green, telling us that it's A-OK and it's functioning. What that does is if a big gust of wind comes along and pushes the caravan from side to side, it will engage the brakes to bring it back in behind the car, which is a pretty good safety feature, especially for people like us who haven't actually towed a caravan before. It really makes it a lot easier. We obviously have the handbrake here to stop the caravan rolling around. And we also have our camera connections. So this little cable connects up our cameras at the rear of the caravan, and we're going to go and take a look at that right now. So follow me around. Come back down. Now you can see up on the top of our caravan here, we've actually got 2 cameras. So these are installed at factory. We've got one looking back along the road, so while we're driving along, on the mirror in the car, we've actually got the ability to see what's going on behind us. So that's a really good thing when you're towing a caravan, you can't see out your traditional rear view mirror. A video camera helps you see all the way back from behind the van. The other one is pointing straight down. When I go into reverse, that actually engages and shows me the back of the van. So I can actually back this within centimeters of whatever's behind me, a tree, another car, another caravan. I can see exactly where I need to go, which is really cool. So this is the back of the caravan. On the back, we've got this hose bag, and so this is an Austrail hose bag, and the idea behind this is that inside we've got our waste hoses and our pipes stay in here, our fresh water connections, as well as our wastewater connections. And that's an easy place to get access to. Everything in the caravan needs to have 2 uses. For us, this is also doubling as a bin. We're currently in a national park, so any excess rubbish we have also goes in here for when we dump it as we travel or leave from the national park. Speaking of waste hoses, the last thing I haven't shown you on the van was our waste connections. So under here we've got our sink and our shower waste connections, and these come out through traditional plumbing. And what we've done is we've actually connected these up into and picked up our washing machine outlet, which then runs out through this pipe. Now originally we had a bunch of different issues with this because we were using a flat hose for waste. We've only just replaced it with this thicker fat traditional hose, which is a 32mm. We found that the flat hose without much pressure was getting a pinch in it, and the water was backing up in the shower and sometimes even in the sink. So by going up to this model, we've been able to get away without having to have a one-way valve. All the water just flows out really well. So we've got a great easy way to connect when we come into a caravan park, our grey water outlets. So that's the caravan tour. You've seen all the way around the van. There's one last thing I want to show you, which is up on top on the roof. To do that, we've got to get a ladder to get up top. Now I'm going to show you something we've just added to the van since Steph's last tour inside the van, which I'm pretty proud of, which I think is pretty cool. Let's go have a look where we store our ladder. So what you can see here is our triple bunk, and we've replaced, what we had here was a stool, and Jeb was using the stool to climb up then onto the bunk and then up onto the top bunk. But instead what we've actually done is we needed a way to store a ladder, but we wanted the weight to be at the back of the van. We had a bit of room in the van in terms of weight payload, but we didn't want to put it on the front table under the bed. So by placing it here, not only do we have a storage spot to the back of the van, but the boys can actually use this now to climb up into the bunk bed. How we fixed it, we actually haven't had to drill any additional holes. We've actually used Velcro, these little grunt straps from Bunnings, and what we're able to do is undo these Velcro straps, and then the whole ladder comes off, and we're able to pick that up and then take it outside. Okay, so I've got my ladder, and we're going to go up on the roof and have a look at what's up top. So, the great thing about these telescopic ladders is they actually take quite a lot of weight, and they extend right up to the full height of the caravan. Okay, let's have a look on the roof. Okay, so we're up on top of the roof, and what you can see here is we've got our TV aerial. That doesn't get a lot of use because we've actually got a satellite antenna. This is the satellite, and what happens is you press a button and it pops up on the roof. You need to make sure you remember to close it before you take off anywhere, but then it'll spin around looking for the satellite and connect, so we don't have to muck around with positioning the satellite ourselves. It's all automatic. You can see various access hatches. You can see our air conditioner. That does a pretty good job. It's not as good as a home air conditioner, but it's pretty reasonable. But what I really wanted to show you were these all-season hatch, and you can see here we've got 4 flaps all the way around it, and they actually open up to let air in. So these are actually a lot better than the traditional ones that you can see at the back. We have one still in the hallway and on the shower, but these open 4 different ways, and you can have them right open even when it rains to an extent. So they're quite a useful access hatch to allow airflow. And then finally, we've got 2 160 watt solar panels up here on the roof that power our batteries. So today, as we mentioned, we've also got our solar blanket out. So in addition to the 320 on the roof, we've got a 190 watt red arc solar blanket pumping in power into the batteries. The great thing about this ladder is that we can get up to clean these solar panels. Dirty solar panels or even shadowed solar panels greatly reduce their efficiencies. So by having a ladder, we're able to get up here to fix that, to make them as efficient as possible.